Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and I will be watching the interview in the Hollywood Reporter India channel. So Anupama Chopra is interviewing Prithviraj and our beloved Lalita. So it's over 40 minutes, so I don't want to delay this any further. Let's watch this interview right away. Nice.
Lal sir, Prithviraj, welcome to the Hollywood Reporter India.
Thank you.
And congratulations on that smashing trailer.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I love the ambition and the audacity and the way it kind of changes our conception of what a Malayalam film is.
I mean, I guess audacity is the right word. Because, this from the outset was a very aspirational kind of a film. In 2022, when I finally finished my shoot script, which is what I read out to my actor and my producer, even before going to him, I knew that there's a very good chance it's not going to get made.
Really?
Why?
Because it's just way too big and way too ambitious for...
Expensive.
Yeah, and not just about the money, the ambition of what I wanted to do with it was I thought maybe I'm just aiming a bit too high. So I went to Dubai to his office and I gave him a reading. And all through I'm thinking, okay, there's a very likely chance of him and Mr. Anthony Perumbavoor giving me a very patient listening and telling me, oh, it's great, but we really don't think this is going to happen. But like I said today in the press meet, I finished reading it and he said, great, we're doing this, let's go for dinner. Okay, so he took me home. He has a house in Dubai. He took me home and he was cooking and all that. And I was like, so you realize that, we are doing this. And he said, yeah. So he was just very, very confident that if at all, if at all there was ever a film that aimed to do what we aspire to do with this, it has to be this one.
Yeah.
So full marks actually to his confidence on the script and in me, and also Mr. Anthony Perumbavoor's conviction. But like you rightly said, we are really hoping that we get to push the boundaries that have been perceived as ours in terms of mainstream storytelling, scale, cinemas.
That's what. And I say this in my trailer reaction also. So guys, if I have something to say, I'm going to pause in between and then talk instead of waiting till the end of the 42nd minute, and I'll probably forget what I had to say at this point. So I'm saying that while I was doing the trailer reaction also, I said, I am really, really praying and rooting for this to be this huge, massive pan-India blockbuster. I am, like, my fingers are crossed. Okay, I've booked my tickets, first day, first show. I'm going for a 9 a.m. show, guys. I'm going for a 9 a.m. show. And so that's the earliest one I could find. I think the shows in Kerala would be way earlier, but earliest here I could find was a 9 a.m. show. So and the theater is quite full because when I was doing my advance booking, like a lot of seats were filled. So I know I'm gonna have a gala time even at 9 a.m. And I am just hoping I'm excited and also I'm kind of nervous because of the scale. Because when you want something to really, really work, you are nervous also in a way. It's like similar thing that you feel in your personal life also, right? If you want something to work for you personally, you'll be a tad bit nervous, and that's what I'm exactly feeling for this film. So let's see. I am really, really hoping for a very positive outcome.
Canvas everything. So come 27th, I really, really hope it's a very special day for us and also for our industry.
And as you said, let this film change the fate and destiny of Malayalam films.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing, we don't want to prove anything, but we can do great films.
Of course.
And most of the films are very good Malayalam films.
Yeah. But the
But
scale.
when you compare to the size, we call it as it's a big film. But this is a big film, like as you said.
Yeah.
The actors, the locations. But you can see, mostly, you can see what we have done with the film. It is there in the film. Yeah.
But sir, when you said yes to Lucifer, of course, that was his first film, right? He's never directed before. I know you're very close. You're living in the same building. You're very close family, friends. But what gave you the faith that he could actually pull this off?
Good question.
See, there is the confidence in him. And like Priti is basically a very good actor, a very good storyteller. The way he presented the story And that kind of confidence he has got on the story, definitely. And I know his family well, I know his father well, mother, and the combination Murali, Gopi, and Priti, they cannot make a bad film. They are not supposed to do that.
See, that
They're not
this is
supposed to
the
do
actual pressure.
Seriously,
It's not
They don't have any choice to do that.
him saying this is the actual pressure.
I
Actually.
love that. He's like, they don't have any choice to make a bad film, because I think it's the immense trust also from Lalita that Prithviraj probably feels so much pressure that I don't want to disappoint him. The first and foremost person that I want to disappoint is him. I don't want to do that.
So-
And the story was amazing.
Yeah.
And the concept and the way he narrated the story, and the way he said this is going to happen with the film. And it is not only one film, it's a trilogy, he said, 2, 3. So again, it's a happening. It is destined that Lucifer, and this should happen in Malayalam films. That is it's a predestined thing. I don't believe in that, but it's a term called predestined. So, okay, let us come without any hope.
yeah.
I did an interview with Allu Arjun a couple of months ago, and he said that everybody can do a great job. But finally, only one person delivers a hit, and that is the director. Do you both agree with that?
I don't, actually.
No?
I mean, it's I can have a vision, and I can have command over every craft of cinema. I can claim to have comprehensive knowledge about lighting, about cinematography, about editing, production.
I'm just letting you know once again, like a tape recorder, I'm saying this. It is a pleasure always to watch a Prithviraj interview. Like when I hear him talk cinema, it's absolutely magical.
Design, all that. But ultimately, I will then have to designate all these crafts to trusted technicians. And if they don't live up to the potential that I believe they have, then I'm not going to be able to make my vision to its entirety.
That's a very good point.
However much eloquent or clear a director is, I can put it into words what I want exactly. But much like it is with an actor, you can really go and tell them what you want. You can maybe even perform and show them for them to understand what you're thinking in terms of what you want from them. But once you say roll camera, then it's not in your control. Yeah, you just have to leave it to the actor and trust him or her with it. Trust their interpretation of the character with it. Same with the technician. You can sort of handhold them and be very specific about what you want. But ultimately, my cinematographer has brought in his vision into the film. My editor has brought in his vision into the film.
Yeah.
My production designer, my makeup artist, my costume designer.
I do believe.
So I really don't think that.
But I do believe that the director should get the highest praise, because it's my personal opinion that the director is the captain of the ship. So yes, the technician get their own vision into it. Maybe the actor is also improvising and adding some of his or her personality. That's all valid as per what he's saying. But I'm saying that if it is, when he's watching that and when he's seeing the edit or when he's seeing the frame, if it is not in line or aligning with what he has thought or what she has thought, whoever the director is, then there is no synergy. So the synergy has to be when the director is actually ensuring that yes, everybody is in line with what I have instructed them, what I have told them, and I'm going to ensure that the output that I'm going to get from all of my crew members is what I have envisioned. So I still feel that what we see on screen, what translates on screen, is the chunk of it is because of how the director guided everybody. That's my opinion.
It is one person delivering. I think it is one person leading a team that collectively delivers. Yeah.
And it will vary from film to film. Like as you said, when it's a big film, we should have a beautiful congress of people. When it's a very personal film, some directors, they will come with 1 or 2 actors. They have their own story. They can do that. But when you do a big film, I agree with him. It is so that's why he'll select only the best people. Normally the director, I want the best cameraman, best set director, because he has to bring all the things into his
That's
film.
what
He needs
exactly
support.
exactly what I was also saying, that he has to. It is the director who has to ensure that everything is in sync. There is this whole synergy in the set also.
Yeah.
Because also when you're making a film where on an average shooting day you have 600 people on location, and it's just a giant unit
600.
on days, some days, yeah, yeah, some days, yeah. You can't claim to be in control of everything.
Sure.
We might be shooting here, and we wouldn't even know what's happening on another side of the set.
Yeah.
They'll be equally involved in the same process, doing something else, but we wouldn't even be aware of it. So it's not like you're in control of everything. That what is happening there, I've trusted someone with that,
Yeah,
and they need to
trust is
deliver.
important.
So yeah, like I said, it's one man's vision and man or woman's vision, and him or her being able to lead a team where everyone delivers. Only then do you really get the full potential of a
Yeah.
project. When we launched the teaser, which is why I went on stage, I called all my technicians up on stage, and I told the audience that I truly believe I have the best team in the world. I think my technical crew, I'm not talking about the cast here, they are anyway world class. My technical crew, they're good enough to go to any part of the world and pull off how big a project in any industry that exists today in the world. That's how good my team is.
Yeah. No, but you called him a very cruel director. I think you meant it as a compliment. Yeah, I think it was a
Not that.
compliment.
Not that. It is somewhere it is true also.
Achha, it's not all a compliment. So he is cruel.
No, that is thing. Like he said, he can extract what he wants. It's like a Dracula. He'll draw the blood from that. For the this is called what you can call. That is why the film will look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has got his own convictions on the film, on actors. So some people say, okay, this shot is okay, but he won't say. He'll come and he will just, he has got some magic. He will just hypnotize you, and he'll extract what he wants. It's a great thing.
That's a mark
It's
of a great
compliment for him.
director.
So he's a very committed director.
Yeah.
And especially for such a film that, if you ask me, do you want that kind of perfection? Definitely, we need that kind of perfection. So many people will say, okay, this is okay. But Prithvi won't say that. That is why his film he has done only 3 films. All the rest of the 2 films are looking very different. Like Bro Daddy is nothing, you cannot compare with
that was a very light-hearted film. But it's fun to watch.
You cannot compare Empuran with those films also. That's the way he makes the film. And every film he is growing, that graph is going high and high.
He's
Okay,
so
great.
proud. He's so proud.
Tell
Evidently
us about
so.
this process, this shooting script that you make after the script has actually come to you. So you have a bound script, and then you spend 6 months doing this shooting script, but it's not previs, it's not storyboarding.
No.
What is the shooting script?
I write it myself. I understand my writer's vision. I really I reach a place where I am almost able to narrate the left side and the right side of his script by heart without looking
I was
at
also told you have a photographic memory.
I don't know about that, but my scripts I do sort of really by heart.
You know the whole thing.
Yeah, I do. And
He can memorize.
Yeah. Wow.
That's good.
then I sit down and I put pen to paper and I start writing.
Okay.
So when I then start writing, it's almost like a subconscious exercise where what I have by-hearted and then what I have envisioned sort of
It's a mixed.
debate and argue with each other.
Ah.
And in that writing, sometimes I change scenes, sometimes I rewrite an entire scene, sometimes I change the screenplay, sometimes I completely change where a scene is happening. And I might sometimes make a particular sequence non-linear in its narration. I do a lot of things like that. And finally, I finish a draft of that script. Then I narrate that script back to my writer.
Okay.
And obviously, we disagree a lot. And we argue and we fight and we have all of that. And that takes about 2-3 weeks at least, actually. With Lucifer, it was much shorter. I think, with Emperor, it took slightly longer. And finally, then we reach a place where both of us have sort of, I've given away a little bit, he's given away a little bit. We've reached a mutual place where we both agree, okay, this is okay.
Okay.
That is a script that I then narrate to my actor and
Wow,
my
that's
producer.
so detailed.
So then
I
what
like that.
happens is, from the time I get the bound script from my writer to the time my writer and myself agree upon a script that we are going to shoot, I've lived with it so closely for so long that by the time I reach my shooting spot, I
He
almost
knows
have like
everything.
a subconscious short division in mind.
Yeah.
And then I don't need to really be putting it down on a paper or pre-visualizing it, or I don't ever have a mood board for my films. I don't have a reference that I show my
Song cue.
cinematographer. I have pretty much seen it so many times that I'm assuming I'm gifted with the ability of being good with words, so I'm able to tell people what exactly I want. My VFX supervisors think I'm a nightmare because they don't have a previous to look at. But that's how
But in
I-
your head, it's clear.
yeah, it's clear. And I really don't even have an extra shot to do at most times. Like this film, my first cut was 3 hours and 1 minute actually. And it's 3 hours now. The day I finished shooting, it was 3 hours. Because I edit online as well. So my online edit, as soon as I finished the online edit, I sort of put the standardized thanks cards, titles, the statutory warning videos, everything with it to know how long the film is. So the day I finished shoot, it was 3 hours and 1 minute. And the film that's going to release is 3 hours.
Amazing. That's amazing. So I don't know if you've seen A Complete Unknown. It's the biopic of Bob Dylan with Timothy Chalamet playing Bob Dylan.
No.
So there's this lovely moment where he says that people ask me, where do the songs come from? But when I look at their faces, I know that they're not actually saying, where do the songs come from? They're saying, why don't the songs come to me?
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know? So he says, when you're good, it produces admiration, but it also produces unspoken envy.
Yeah.
And you're not good, you're great. Right? And you're very you don't want to intellectualize your process of acting. You've always said it's a blessing. Do you find this to be true, that you do arouse a lot of envy?
It's a very difficult question.
It is actually, how do you even answer that? Because I feel that from whatever I have seen of Mohanlal sir in interviews and whatever interactions, like non-filmy interactions that I have seen, I find him very, like, he's very introverted. And if you see here also in the interview, there's a clear distinction on how Prithviraj is answering and how Sir is answering, right? So I find him a very introverted person, and I think that he doesn't give two rat's ass to think about people who envy him, because I think he's just doing his work and creating a legacy. That's all.
Envy in the sense
Because you make it look so effortless, and you
Effortless,
speak about it in a way that you feel like
it is like I think any actors can do. Like it's not acting. This is more of reacting, and I call it as a kind of meditation happening. Maybe
Yeah.
we are
See?
very serious into that, especially on the stage. I do a lot of stage shows also. So in film, we have a lot of choices, but between the action and cut, if you can, it's kind of vanishing. And Mohanlal is vanishing and the character comes.
Yeah.
And again, the other character will vanish when they say cut. It's a process. And that is called the gift. That's called the blessing. So envy, I don't know about that particular word, but it is effortless means. But this is a beautiful process, and you're getting a character. And see, in my case, my last film that just I'm coming out is from the set of Mr. Satyanandika. I'm doing a character. I had a open heart surgery, so I don't know how you will feel that after open heart surgery. So what I'll do before the shoot, I'll just go and pray. Please help me. Seriously, this is the way I do. And after 1 or 2 days, slowly, what you can call it will all come to me. the character, the walking.
It's like a blessing. That's what.
Sometimes there are particular, after I did a Tanmatra, a lot of doctors came and asked me, this is the way, did you observe all the Alzheimer's patient? I said, no. So this is a blessing. Because some gestures they do, I have produced in that film. That's only
And
a
and that too without studying any person. So yeah. So I'm sure that it probably generates envy, but I don't think he cares. I'm sure because he's naturally gifted. Like, what are you gonna do about it, huh?
doctor can find out. He said, no, Mohanlal, yeah, like you must have observed a lot of Alzheimer's patients. I said, nothing, seriously. And it happens in so many films. So, as you said, this is like a beautiful song. It's coming to you from the Almighty. It's a blessing.
Prithvi, did directing him make you a better actor?
I definitely think so.
Hannah?
I definitely think so. See, obviously, I can't sort of steal his skill set or anything. That's impossible to do. But as a director, you have this privilege of being let into the process of an actor. An actor can only work with the director that way. You sort of unknowingly let him or her into your process. And I've had the privilege of being let into that process with him for 3 films now. Not just him, great actors like Manju, even for that matter, my brother Indrajit, or Abhimanyu Singh, or Sukant Goel. Man, what a brilliant actor, Sukant Goel. All these
Sukant
people
Goel
now, when
is
they
amazing.
collaborate with you as a filmmaker, they also let you into their process as an actor. And there is something to learn in each one of those processes, in how they think, what their mechanism is. And I'm assuming, even though I've not gone back home every day after shoot and written down notes, I'm assuming a lot of it has stayed with me.
Yeah,
And
subconsciously.
it has sort of created a collective conscience bank maybe inside of me, where maybe now when I do something, I'll suddenly, hey, how did I think of that? I wouldn't be able to place it, but it could be something he did one day on set, or something
That's
someone
possible.
else did. So I definitely do think that, I'm, if nothing else, I think I'm a wiser actor having directed these 3 films with him. Yeah.
It's a beautiful word, voice actor.
And he's gone straight to Mr. Rajamouli. So what could be better, right?
Yes.
Well, now that I mean the leaked videos and all are out, I'm assuming I can't tell you I went sightseeing to Orissa with Mahesh. So
We were not buying that ever, Prithvi. And you know that I'm taking credit for this because you remember the round table where you and Rajamouli met.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if that was the first time, but I remember they said to each other, oh, come after the round table was done. There was some coffee or some dinner or something you guys planned. And I said, if you 2 work together, I'm taking credit. So
no, I mean, it happened actually much after that. I mean, that day we just...
You can just still thank me.
It's all yours, Anupama. It's all yours.
You know, what I loved about Lucifer was how, of course, it's a popcorn entertainer, right? It's a big masala movie that you're supposed to go into a theater and enjoy. But you've also slipped in some fairly stinging social commentary, right? So there is that one moment where Toby's character, Jatin Das says that... what's something like, this is the world's biggest comedy. It's called Indian politics. Yeah. And then there's that other moment where the head of the television company is telling his partner that...
idealism is dead.
Yeah, idealism, my darling, is dead, is his exact line. Why was that important to you as a storyteller?
Well, see, there's a lot of observation / satirical remarks in both films of these franchises so far, and it will be the same for the 3rd film as well.
Okay.
My writer, Mr. Murali Gopi, is an extremely strong observer and even narrator of society that way. He has very strong views, like myself, on things that are happening around us. But we are also aware that you can't really make your film a 3-hour-long messaging, newsreel. A film has to first work on its superficial layer. If you have to give a really sour medicine to a 3-year-old baby, it has to be packaged in a really bright, nice-looking capsule.
That's a nice way to put it.
So we knew that all the messaging and all the jibes and all the satirical remarks that we wanted to make will have to exist in a secondary layer. But that will need to exist because it is those moments in the film that I believe makes a film like Lucifer worthy of a rewatch.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think a lot of films where I find the political, see, couple of, there are films which are completely in your face when it comes to political commentary or social economic commentary, but I love it when you have a main plot and via the subplot, or basically there's an undercurrent or the subtext in the storytelling where you have these kind of commentary, because it's not in your face and the main plot is completely like different, the storyline is different, but through that storyline you are doing that commentary via the subtext and you get that, like the messaging is loud and clear without saying anything. I think that is the kind of writing which I really really appreciate, because it's not very easy to do.
Yeah.
If it were just Lal sir coming in slow motion and beating up people and all that, I don't think you could just watch that on an Instagram reel. But I know a lot of people who still sit through 3 hours of Lucifer. When it comes on television on a Sunday, or if they want to one day after work, they can go into Amazon Prime and rewatch the film. A lot of people still do it. I think
Yeah.
it's the secondary layer of this messaging and really sharp social satire that exists in the film. That is important to me. I do think I would always like to make cinema that people would like to revisit. For that matter, one of the most consistent compliments I have received even for a film like Bro Daddy is that we love watching it again. So Asianet Hotstar, that holds the satellite and digital rights of the film, they've consistently told me this is one of our biggest hits on the platform, because even today, come one Sunday, if we put it on prime time, we get such and such numbers, because I know people who work there, which sort of tells me that people like watching the film again. That is one of the most beautiful qualities a piece of cinema can have. For that matter, a piece of art can have. A greatest painting would be one that makes you slow down each time you walk past it. No?
Yeah,
So it's
wow,
a bit like
that's
that.
such a great way to.
Nice.
Even Lalita is impressed with that line. I think this is what I love about Prithviraj's interviews. Always, he is so good at communicating his thoughts, basically. And I always appreciate how he comes up with these parallels all the time to actually share his point across, which is great. It's a very great ability to have. And I think I have always been thoroughly impressed whenever I have watched his interview. Absolutely amazing.
But it's also, there's meat on the story,
Yeah.
right? There's so many characters, so many relationships, so much drama. What was the process of creating arcs for 2 and then for 3?
Yeah. So, right from the first time the ideation of the whole world started, we knew that back then we only knew that the story is too long for one film, and it really can't be sort of cut short that way. So when we started ideating on this back in 2016 or 16, I think, the franchise / universe / part 1, part 2, part 3 had not made a fashionable entrance. So we didn't even know how are we going to put this across to a producer or anyone for that matter.
Now
So
it's such a
Murli and I
common
decided
thing.
that, okay, we're going to make this film and we're going to leave enough in there. If that film works, maybe we can do a part 2. But the film doesn't work, it should still exist as okay, they did a film and it's a complete film in itself as far as story and narration is concerned. So we did that with part 1 and we never spoke about a part 2 till the 50th day celebration of part 1. Because both of us knew if part 1 is a disaster, what's the point in sitting there and going, we actually have a part 2 and part 3. Nobody would want to see it.
Stephen has more.
Yeah, but nobody would want to see it, right? So when part 1 became a big success, then we decided that, okay, let's now we can go and tell the world that we actually have a second part and a third part to this. Part 1 we sort of ended safely, because even if there is no part 2, it's still there. The film is there.
But
right?
I think the part 2
Part 2
cuts
not so safely.
Yeah.
Because it ends
In a
at
cliffhanger.
a cliffhanger of sorts. Where now
That's what I wanted. Okay, so now at least, because I wanted part 2, like personally I wanted it to end in such a cliffhanger that we'll be talking about this, discussing this, at least in the YouTube community, in the reviewer community. I wanted that. So I'm very happy that he has confirmed this.
Complete the story, I will have to make part 3. That's how it finishes. But like you said, even when we deep down decided that if the film does not work, it is only going to be a single film, we knew that the arc of each character that exists across the three films, we knew where it was. Where is the beginning, where is the end, what it will go through. Even in part two, all the new characters that have been introduced in part two, we have an arc for them till end of part three. So I think it's very complex and chaotic that way, but it's also beautifully coherent, and that is entirely the skill of my very highly rated writer, Mr. Murali Gopi. I can't take any claim for it because he's extremely equipped in that sense that he has this beautiful faculty of creating a chaos around you and then taking you through a very coherent narrative through the chaos, which is very much
Amazing.
how the film is. If you remember how Lucifer starts, the film opens into chaos. Like it's chaos and confusion everywhere, and then the story begins. It's pretty much like that in part two also.
And moreover, it's very difficult to make a sequel.
It is.
It's a big challenging thing.
Yeah.
But normally, even I have done so many films in sequel. They have created a universe. That's a correct word he said. They have already created, and they have a very strong base. But some of the other films, after the success of the film, they'll think about the sequel.
Yeah.
But now this is fixed. Only thing, one is hit, then we will do the two.
Yeah.
Two is hit, then we will do. And three is hit, we can do the four also.
The three at the end of the franchise.
So do you like participate in this process at all? Like, do you ever give notes on, I feel Stephen can do this, but he shouldn't do this? Not at all.
No, why should I?
You do what is on the paper.
Yeah, it is because nothing to make a comment on that. It is so precise and it's a very well-crafted thing, So when you read that, yeah, excellent. That is, why should I go and, Stephen should be like that? Because I don't know Stephen. They know Stephen very well. Because,
but he makes these amazing observations on the character that sometimes even as a filmmaker or a writer that even we miss. So I remember when we were doing part one, day one of shooting in a church, I remember him coming and telling me, this Stephen is just always sad. And I'm like, oh yeah, he is actually always sad.
Yeah.
Even when he is Qureshi Abram, he still has a lot of sorrow in him. So I think that's his gift that he immediately understood that
It's a blessing.
I don't know what an equivalent term in English would be. Sthai bhavam, what's your status of rest as a character?
What's the soul?
No, the status of rest as a character. From which emotion, upon what emotion do you build the rest of the character on?
What's the foundation?
Yeah, and that's sorrow for Stephen.
Yeah.
And that's he sort of voiced it out to me, and I'm like, oh, that's so pinpoint. That's great. So he makes these wonderful observations about multiple characters in the film. Yeah.
But I think Stephen could also be a sort of cousin of George Cotino.
even George Clooney, I don't know.
Sorrow, no?
But he's a brilliant character, George
brilliant.
Clooney.
And they both
Even
come
I don't
from
know what
sorrow.
is in his mind.
Yeah.
Same thing with Stephen also.
Yeah.
These are all some very
Mysterious.
rarely an actor will get characters like this. Even I don't know about him. I don't know about Stephen. What all things he carry in his mind and what all things he are doing. He's a very strange characters like George Clooney also. How he's planning. And we cannot emote the real emotions to the film. That is a main challenge of an actor. Even here also, sometimes the sorrow, that Sai Bhavam, whatever he means, but he is carrying a lot of emotions on his shoulder. Same thing with the Drishyam, he cannot show what is in his mind.
Yeah.
So you have to act opposite.
Exactly.
You have to act opposite and yet convey to the audience that there is this huge burden that this character is carrying, and he nails that. That's why it's a blessing. And he says that, it's a blessing for me because it comes to me. I don't know how it happens, but it does. Because that's exactly, when he said that these two characters are full of sorrow, but you can't show it to the world, right? And that's why we always collectively say that it's his eyes that talk. Mohanlal sir's eyes are the ones that does the talking, even though he has a complete poker face. He's able to emote those burdens or that sorrow. Amazing. Oh, and I'm digressing a little bit because I just remembered there is an interview of just Mohanlal sir with BR. If you want me to react to that, please let me know.
Exactly. I also love.
I'll
that
have to
in-
do it tomorrow itself because day after the movie is releasing. So yeah, I'm on a time
Lucifer.
crunch.
Your first action sequence was actually an hour into the film.
Yeah.
You know, like we did not see you.
He's only
kicking
there
butt.
in the film for about 40 minutes in Lucifer.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
film-
I did not realize that.
The
at
film
all.
is about 2 hours, 57 minutes long, and he's there for about
Yeah, he
41
comes in
minutes.
very late.
Because it was so amazing to me that you waited that long and it was so stylishly done, and you just pick up that mundu and you're just destroying all these baddies. But I want to talk a little bit about like action and violence, because this was 2019.
Yeah.
Right? Since then, the bar for violence in films just seems to have gone through another level. I mean, honestly, as I was watching Marco, I was like, I cannot believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. What is your take on it? Like, what do you think? How much can you get an audience to accept?
It is not the violence, it's a situation. If a situation demands that kind of bloodshed, then it is fine.
You have to justify.
You have to justify. That is the thing. Like, otherwise, we have a difference of opinion. If the character, if the situation demands, then I think am I right?
Very true, but also I
Yeah.
disagree with people having a problem with a film like Marco because it never pretended to be anything
Not
else.
at all. Of course.
Because at least for us, I know Unni is a friend, and
right.
so I know that from the time they set about to make the film, the first announcement itself was about violence.
Most violent.
You're going to see never before violence. It's basically voyeurism upon violence. It's like a slasher film on steroids. That's what they kept saying. They never fooled you into thinking it was something else.
Yeah.
They kept saying it was the most violent film, the most violent film. And then you go watch it and you complain about the violence. Come on. I mean, that's...
I just didn't expect to
Only
see.
few films. But
Sure,
if the situation needed that kind of film, and like you said, already you know this is going to be a film
That's right.
like that.
So you know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
Correct? But does it, as a storyteller, put pressure on what you do for 2, for 3? Because you're also creating action.
Yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't. Because also, you need to contextualize your action and violence.
Yeah.
You can't really think of a particular action sequence and then write your screenplay to that.
That's true.
At least for me, the action sequence has to organically come within a screenplay. Now, when I say this, when you're talking about mainstream, big-ticket masala action films, people would think, oh, that's very easy in a film like that. It is not. One of the toughest things to do is to get people to organically have goosebumps.
Right.
That's a very tough thing to do as a filmmaker and a writer.
True, but I think initially a lot of action was like that, where it was organically part of the screenplay. And this is just an observation that I have had. Specifically, I'm not saying Malayalam films, but specifically Hindi masala films that I have watched, is that organically, initially, all of those masala films, the action was organically, built up because of the screenplay. And that is why when the action was happening, you used to get the goosebumps. You were like, okay, yes, I have been waiting for this moment that this hero trashes this a-hole, basically. But now, what I'm observing is the opposite. Is that you have a big action set piece, you have thought of this big action set piece, that I'm going to have this is the sequence, and then the scene is curated around that. And, audience is not dumb. You can when we watch it, you'll be like, this is crap. I mean, this was not required. They just wanted to insert this in somehow. That is what is happening. And then so you don't get the goosebumps. You feel that this is being just force fed to you completely without a proper storyline.
So much of thought process that you need to put into writing, shot division, how you're going to do all that in terms of for you to make people go wow in theater. It's not very easy. So you have to organically follow that process and then see where that leads you into your action choreography. There is a lot of violence in Empuran. It is not all butterflies and rose petals. There is there is a lot of action, a lot of violence, but there is not a single sequence where I have indulged the filmmaker in me to be shooting violence. No, it's I'm following narrative. And when I say narrative, even an action sequence where it could be a protagonist beating down 20 people. Within the action sequence, you need to have a narrative,
Yeah.
or else it's going to get boring for you. 5 minutes of action can get boring if there is no narrative in it. So you have to then design that narrative, and you keep following that narrative to see where
Yeah,
you are
but how
taking the
many
violence,
directors
where
are
you're
doing
taking the
that?
choreography to. So I believe that's how I shoot. Whether it's worked or not is for the audience to tell me.
It's again like a choreography. It's like a beautiful dance.
Yeah.
If you don't do it properly, then you will say, oh, it's not good. Same
Yeah.
thing with the action also. It's a beautiful choreography, and the situation demands, and like you say, you have to shoot it properly.
I love shooting action.
Yeah.
I really like shooting action because
That's why I think when Marco released, everybody was talking about the staircase fight scene, because it was like this beautiful dance. It's just choreographed so well, shot so well. The camera angles were perfect, sound design absolute. You could feel each and every punch there.
So I'll tell you why, because I think I learned filmmaking through shooting action sequences. I started filming independently long back when I was doing films where sometimes you could not afford action directors. And my directors started realizing I have a knack for this.
Okay.
I'll tell you specifically who. Padma Kumar. Actually, he's done a film with him also. Padma Kumar's first film, called Vargam, is the first time I shot something for myself, which was the action sequence in that film. And then it turned out so good that when he did his second film, he already decided that the climax I will shoot. So I had shot the climax action sequence of Vastavam also. Then later on, I started filming action sequences for films. And I sort of learned my grammar of, okay, how do you cut between axes? How do you know all that by shooting action? Because action is where you have a lot of cuts and you need to have your
it's very
edit in mind and all
dynamic.
that.
Right.
And those days, we used to shoot in film. And raw stock was an expensive commodity. And Malayalam cinema was not an industry where you can shoot a film with 600 cans of film, just laying by your side.
Right.
So we had to make calculations. I had to ask my cinematography assistant, how many cans do we have on location? So he'd say, okay, there's about 270 feet remaining on the can that's on camera. Then we have 4 more cans. So I have to make a calculation.
So you plot it.
Yeah, so for 1,600 plus 270 is 1,870 feet of film. So how do we do this? So all that I had to, that's why I learned
amazing.
the technicalities
That's why
of
he's a
how to
visionary.
shoot a particular sequence.
Absolutely
So I
love
still
him.
love shooting action. And if you love shooting action and you get Mohanlal, you kind of really then sort of, yeah.
It's not easy to shoot an action. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to convince the people. It's a big
No, but
challenge.
I really like shooting action with him because he's just quite good at it, for one.
Like everything else.
Yeah, no, with action he says, but I know he's got this glee, when we shoot action. He really enjoys it. So I said this to another interviewer yesterday, I think. There is not a single dupe shot in my film. There is not a single face replacement shot in my film. When it eventually comes on a streaming service, you can pause and look at the action sequences. Not a single shot is there which is not done by himself. And the action choreography in the film is such that at multiple times, I have myself and Silva, my action choreographer, we have sort of deviated into these long choreographed shots where it's basically 5 cameras on the same track. I want to try something which I've tried, which required the actor to learn and by heart long bits of choreography and do it in a single shot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to pull that off if it was, if it was someone else. His physical agility is very surprising. I'm going to say is with him. For his age, it's very, very surprising. And also he's very good with memorizing action. Yeah.
Well, you were so good in Malaikota. It was just to
Yeah.
see you
Yeah.
do that was just so
He's a
phenomenal.
state wrestling champion.
Really?
Oh, you don't know that? Yeah,
No.
he's a Gusti champion.
I was.
also didn't know
when
this.
in
Oh,
my
did I know
college.
this?
Yeah.
Somebody told me. No, I
Trained
didn't
in
know this.
gymnastics and all
Oh
that.
no, I think somebody actually had told me this when I did my very first video of the compilation video on Lalata. I think there was one wrestling shot there, and I think somebody wrote a comment there. I think so. I am forgetting. This was like, I don't know, so many years ago.
Wow. And so this is also your 45th year as an actor.
47th.
47? Because 1980 was the first film
When
released.
I started in my
His first film never released.
Yeah,
Correct.
in
So it was
1978.
December was
1978, September 3rd was my
first shot. So you said to me the last time we did an interview that the day acting feels like a job, I'll quit.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's not a job, right?
Not a
How-
job also, like...
But how do you stay in love?
like people like him.
So sweet.
That's
He's
a
such a
compliment.
Seriously.
sweet, humble
A
person.
beautiful
Yeah.
profession. If you are healthy, at the age of 92, Clint Eastwood is directing.
That's
Yeah.
So many people are, Anthony Hopkins acting,
Yeah.
Amitabh Bachchan sir is acting. A lot of people. So basically,
Yeah,
it's a
these are the
gifted
kind of people who love
profession.
their craft.
So if you are healthy, you can do. So sometimes you will feel, my God, this is too much. I have to stop. This is a process. Every career, there will be a time you will feel that, oh my God, I have to stop this. But this is a very vicious circle.
You should see how happy he is on set. I sometimes when you're filming, you would think that when a giant superstar walks onto set, everybody would go like, okay, he's coming.
Yeah.
Right? But I've noticed this so many times that I'd be sitting behind the monitor in a video village, and somebody would come and tell me, Lal sir has come. And when he gets out of the car and he starts walking, the whole set, rather than go, oh, he's come, they all become happy. Because Lal sir has come, yeah. And they all become happy because he brings that vibe to the set.
Yeah.
Which sort of tells you how much fun he has coming to shoot every day. And that's what I keep repeating in every interview. Both these guys, Mammootty sir and Mohanlal sir, I think the greatest quality that they have is that they still love it so much.
Yeah.
So much.
It's still exciting.
Yeah, nothing to prove to the world anymore. And, it's just, they are not doing it for fame anymore. They're both very rich, I know. So
He's sitting with, they are very rich. I know that. So sweet.
just come for the fun of it. And that's such
the joy.
Yeah, that's so joyful to watch from outside as well.
Yeah. Okay, last couple of questions. What can you tell us about part 3? Have we shot it already?
No. I don't know. Yes,
No.
you have to wait.
No, I haven't shot part 3.
Nothing.
Like I said, only if part 2 works can I even start thinking of part 3. And people keep saying that part 2 is a big film. I'm not saying that it's a small budgeted film.
150 crores is what I read.
No. I would like to tell you that what you feel is the budget after watching the film is the budget. And I have put an open challenge to my producer that nobody is going to guess
What the budget is.
as low as the actual budget.
Really?
Yeah. So that's
And
my
it's all in camera.
that's my challenge to the producer.
Wow.
But anyway, what you think is a budget of the film.
But what he said is not.
I think that is not true.
But so if I have to make part 3, then I would like to really sort of open up and do a big film.
Nice.
He's a
As
big
opposed to
film. Big
this?
film. He wants to make a big film. This is a very small film for him.
That's right.
That's a beautiful. See, something you have to think big. Yeah.
Absolutely. So nothing. It wasn't like what Manisha did with PS1 and PS2.
No, I
Not at all.
can't. Because part 3 again takes you into a completely new world.
Yeah.
You will know when you see part 2. I have a request. Please watch the end scroll titles of Emburan.
Okay.
Like part 1, there is an end scroll title.
We will
Watch
be
it,
waiting. Thank you for
read it
telling that.
carefully. See all the newsreels and quotes and everything.
Thank
Don't
you
leave
for
the theater
telling
before
that.
Nice. Okay.
Generally,
We will,
we'll
because
realize whether
that is material to speculate for part 3.
part 3 is going to happen or not.
Yeah.
So lots of Easter eggs
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
put
I
in.
mean, I've given you a hint of what the world is going to look like. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and where are we on Drishyam 3?
Oh, I'd like to know.
Same thing. It's a major. We are planning to come out with Drishyam 3.
The script is ready?
Not yet. Finally, almost it's in Jitu's. Yeah. But we have to do because a lot of inquiries are coming. See, you are also asking. So if I am lucky, I'll come and sit in front of you discussing Drishyam.
George Kruti, I would like to hang with him again. He's a very interesting character. So it's still in the works.
Yeah, right.
And what was it like with Mr. Rajamouli?
I'm a huge fan, yeah.
They started the shoot, huh?
I'm not supposed to say, Jeta.
No, not Rajamouli's film.
Yeah, that's what. It's supposed to be like...
No, I'm asking about Emburan 3.
I am. Yeah. I mean, like, there will be a time when we can speak about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Even
right.
if I ask also, he'll say the same thing.
He'll say the same thing.
He'll say,
Exactly.
no, I don't know about that. So, I know, even still, I don't
No, I
know
mean,
whether we started or not.
because see, it's been like what, more than a year now since I've sort of technically said yes to it and all. So I might as well wait till yeah.
But how exciting.
I mean, I'm in awe of him as a filmmaker.
More than
as
him,
a
we are all excited.
no, I'm a huge fan. Like, I've put it out there saying that as a filmmaker, my inspiration is to be trying able to do something for my industry, like what he did for the Telugu film industry. He's a visionary. He's an absolute visionary.
So
And
is
you
Prithviraj,
realize
I
why
feel.
when you are with him in close quarters. It is what a hardworking filmmaker. My God, I mean, I'd love to talk about this in detail one day. Yeah,
And we will.
yeah. Let's hope
And
so.
we will. But thank you so much.
you very
And again, cannot wait to see Empuran.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
very much. Thank you.
All right, let me stop this. Loved it. I think it was fantastic. I already shared my thoughts in between. As closing thoughts, I just want to say that I am very, very excited. My tickets are booked, first day, first show. Excited and also, like I said before, a little scared. But I just wish the entire team all the best. And I wish that as audience, we just have this amazing time watching this film, like the 3 hours. I just hope when I come out of the theater, I'm able to type in my Instagram story that I had the best 3 hours of entertainment till date. I hope I can say that. On that note, I am going to sign off from this video, and please share your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you soon on my next one. Bye.